Ravenclaw is known as the House of Wit, of sharp answers and sharper minds, of clever spells, obscure knowledge, and an affinity for the extraordinary. But that's only the surface. That's the Ravenclaw the world likes. What no one talks about is what it costs to see the world so clearly, to live with your mind wide open. Ravenclaws are idealists, not the loud kind chanting in crowds or charging into battle, but the kind that quietly believes the world could be better, should be better, must be better. And when it isn't, they feel it like a fracture in their soul, because they don't just want answers, they want truth, and truth, more often than not, is a lonely thing. To be a Ravenclaw is to walk through the world with your mind 2 steps ahead and your heart catching up. They notice what others don't, they see the inconsistencies in arguments, the flaws in systems, the quiet hypocrisy behind well-meant rules. And because they see it, they can't unsee it. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about holding the unbearable tension between what is and what could be. You can see this in Luna Lovegood, who doesn't just believe in things others dismiss. She knows truths that make people uncomfortable. She doesn't mock them, she doesn't need them to agree, she simply holds her truth quietly, even if it isolates her, and it does. Ravenclaws dream of a better world, not because it's easy to believe in, but because they have to. They imagine systems that work, people who care, a society driven by thought, compassion, precision. But idealism is lonely, because when you hold the world to a higher standard, you're often met with disappointment. Some grow cynical, some retreat into books, into theories, into art. Some build strange walls of eccentricity so they won't have to explain why they don't fit in. But the truth is, many Ravenclaws don't feel seen, because people love their intellect, but not always their intensity. Not the way they ache for something more. Ravenclaws don't stop at what's safe. They don't settle for surface truths, they dig. Ravenclaws are seekers of knowledge, of beauty, of meaning. They question everything, tradition, authority, even themselves. Not to rebel, but to understand. But the world doesn't always reward that. It calls them strange, dismisses them as odd, or uses their brilliance without ever truly appreciating it. Garrick Ollivander knew every wand in Britain, every core, every wood, every whisper of potential. But when the world tipped towards darkness, he wasn't just a craftsman. He was hunted, tortured, taken. Because knowledge has power, and sometimes that power isolates you. He survived, but he was never quite the same. When Luna found him in that prison, he was quiet, faded, still brilliant, but haunted by what he knew. That's the side of Ravenclaw no one sees, the part that searches so far it almost breaks them. They are misunderstood not because they're wrong, but because they see more than most can bear. If you've ever felt too much, thought too deeply, dreamed of a better world, and felt alone for wanting it, you already know what it means to be a Ravenclaw. It's about living with the burden of seeing the world as it could be, and hurting every time it falls short. Ravenclaws aren't just smart, they're sensitive, they're visionary, they're idealists in a cynical world, and that takes courage too.